Hello there, and welcome to Live Coding with Gerph. Hopefully we're live and you should be able to see we have some windows. Cool. All right, so all being well, we will have a reasonable amount of this project completed today, I'm hoping. It's taken, this is week 3, so we're a little way into it, but we've done most of the hard work. And it's really just about wiring it up and finishing a couple of bits now. It should be relatively easy, I hope. So what are we doing? We are handling the text within the window manager, which means doing font rendering and system font rendering, VU5 style. Most of this should be relatively simple and should translate straight to the a regular window manager. We're testing it against how the regular system works, classic system, and we'll see how well we get on. We have a document that describes what we're trying to do. So this is the basics of the implementation, and so far we are 50% through. We didn't actually finish things last week, so we didn't get any further. Last week we were working on text using the Wimp symbol fonts, and that was nearly complete, but we only had the font side of it working, not the system font side of it. So that needs completing. System font rendering with scaling is nearly complete. We are just working on getting that done. Dave says he's had problems with getting the chat panel open. I don't know what that is. I suspect the it's just a oddity of the YouTube interface. It's not wonderful, isn't the YouTube interface for chatting here? But I'm glad it's working now. Great, cool. So yeah, we've got bits of this done. Default font from NVRAM we can pick up. That shouldn't be too hard. Truncation with ellipsis also should be very easy to do, and reading the split point I think should be easy to do. We will have a see how we get on, but that's where we are going at the moment. So in case anybody wants to follow along, this is the Git repository we are tracking. So here we are. Let us see what we've actually got to make sure things work. We're in the wrong repository. This is the one we want. Wimp text render. Let's make sure it's built. So clean first, and then we'll build it. Oh, Docker's not running. Let's have a see whether we can get that fired up. That's rather strange, isn't it? Usually when I reboot, Docker comes up straight away. I wonder if maybe I quit it by accident when I was cleaning up earlier. Not sure. Just give Docker a moment start. There we go. Do a clean. Yeah, just still thinking. Thank you very much. And then let's build as well. And then we can try it out and see where we're at. So, I don't know, pyro dev. That was me testing sound things. No, sound things. Boom, boom. Oh, somewhere in here. It's all the timer stuff I was doing last night. Very, oh dear me. Oh, that looks like a good command for us. That one will do, yeah. Let's fire this up. Come on, up you come. Thank you very much. Right, there we are. And then we can fire up AF32.Wimp text render, which does rendering of that. We've lost a few characters there, but we've got the main ones working. So this is good. Feeling happy about that. Yeah, that feels pretty nice. That. So with that working, we can start looking at the other case. So if I go and do this again and do set Wimp $font to foo so that it doesn't use the font, just clear the screen. Oh no, wrong one. This one. Yeah, that doesn't work quite right. We've got these odd little things here, characters coming out. So we'll just clear the screen again and then move down with it so we're not going to overwrite where we're doing, so you'll be able to see things. There we go. Ooh, that's very slow. I've noticed this. My machine is running very slowly today. I thought maybe it was backups, but I've killed them and I don't know what it is. Anyway, that's something else to look at. We'll have a look at that later. So this is all the other characters we've got. And as you can see, they're not coming out right. And the reason they're not coming out right is because we haven't got the correct definitions in there. Also here it says we've converted the string, which we shouldn't do if it's the system font. We should only convert it to something else if it's not the system font. So there's little bits here that are going a bit awry. So let's have a see what we can do about that. See how it works, I suppose, because I'm not actually sure how I did this stuff before. Right, so this is the actual test program. We're printing out a load of different symbols, which is fair enough. And then we call into the text render library, which is this one here, which calls into paint, which calls convert, and then paint, which is where we go wrong, because we should only convert the text if it contains, if it has been run through a font manager. If it doesn't run through a font manager, we don't need to. So let's just change that bit of code here so that we don't do that. Okay. I added something. I added something to be able to get the length of what font handle we were using, didn't I? What did I add? Let's look at the header file. That'd be easier, won't it? In the context library, text read handle, that's the one. Yeah, so that should return me a handle or a 0 if it wasn't actually using a font. So we can do that. Let's no, wrong one. Where am I going? This file. Here we go. Well, strictly we know what it is here because we can get it out of this desktop font. Sorry. Yeah, we need to actually get it out of our context. Yeah, we need to get out of our context. Okay, so if put it inside this, if is system font, and we'll make this odd. Lost another one. Yeah, that's it. If we have a system font, we do that. Sorry, new text equals over unindented that. Oh, brain not with it today. Oh, I've moved my characters so they're appearing up here now. So hopefully that'll be useful if people are trying to follow what I'm trying to do. New text equals null, and then we can say text equals new text. Oh, got that around the wrong way, haven't I? Not new text, not system font rather. And then here we can do if new text. Brilliant. There we go. Right. So we'll need to do this same sort of process on all of them. So here we've got the same thing. Oh, we've got notes about this. Names are not, length's not handled, and it should be control terminated, but it's 0 terminated. Okay, we can look into that as well. But let's get the actual base implementation working. And we use the same logic here. New text equals null. Not system font. Convert it. Yeah, and this note about it being control terminated, but it's not handled there. Oh dear, it's not great, but we'll get this done. New text, free it, I've got that for string width. So that's paint and string width. All good. All right. So let's -amu -f. I'm supposed to have that, I think, for me, isn't it? Oh no, I've closed the window, so it's gone. Ammo, and see if that works. Nope. 190. Oh, I haven't actually defined this. That's a fair point. So yeah, somewhere around here is a good idea. Define is system font. Should be, oh, we should pass it the text render context. T-render to G-context to I've forgotten what the function was called. It's this one here. Text read handle. Copy, paste. And we pass in again T-render to G-context and the font handle. Oh, we need to the font, don't we? Oh, the font is in T-render. T-render to font. There we go. If that is 0, then it's a system font. Yeah, it's a lot better it being in a library there. Maybe we should actually put it into the context so that it gets updated. That might actually make more sense. But for now, I mean, this should at least give me the right values, and I can rework the macro later. Or it can be broken. 192 semicolon missing, and it looks like I've got like something wrong. Oh, because I hadn't actually passed any parameters. So T-render needs to go into that, and again T-render needs to go into this. There's my text render context being passed through. Hopefully I've got my brackets right now. No, apparently not. 193. So how many brackets did I miss here? So T-render G-context. That's the end of the fun. Ah, there we go. That should be the end of the function there. The end of the. No, hang on. That's the end of the function, and then that's the bracket to the. That doesn't need to be there, does it? That bracket is redundant. Yeah, that's. I think that's right. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Try again. Good. That looks better. Right. Move down the screen a little bit and then run it. Oh, except I forgot to unset the font, didn't I? Nope. Well, that went bang. Okay. Oops. Okay, so where do we start to go wrong on this? Lots of errors. Right. So we were reading from 0 page. That's not good. Get string size. Pull back strict, get string size. So we're in get string size. We've been doing the width call. And where were we? Executing the code block. Where was PC? PC is at D1C. So anywhere within this, we don't know exactly where. But R0 contains 0. I'm looking forward to a later version of Unicorn that actually handles this. It's this bit here that's trying to read things, it looks like. This is the strlen call. How weird. Oh, I know what I've done. I know what I've done. Yeah, if we scroll down here, and have a look at where I did the this bit here, new text, but then we operate on new text here when we should be operating on text, because I was going to update it to say what the text should be. There we go. That's what I was going to do. Let's try that again. Mark on my glasses. Right. Let's move down a little bit. Run it. Hello world. Yeah, I've done yet again. I've done the same thing. Let's echo 12. And again, I forgot to actually unset the font. Oh dear. Right. Set to foo. Clear the screen. Move down. I could do something better with this, so I'd be able to see it better, but it doesn't matter. No, it went bad again, and it passed in a dead null pointer. Yeah, that is weird. I clearly made a mess of that. What did I do? Give me a second of clean glasses, and we'll have a look. Hi, Andrew. Sorry, I haven't been paying attention to the chat. Very remiss of me. How's that? Can I actually see now? Yeah, that's better. One great mark in the middle of my glasses. One of the problems with looking up at the higher screen is I suddenly notice that things towards the top of my glasses are all mucky. Right, so still crashed, and we passed in a null pointer, which was not very sane. Let's exit that and have a look back at what did I actually do. Text is new text. Fair enough. Oh, but this paint, I didn't update it. Yeah, that's why. I updated the width call, but not the other one. Okay. Try it again. No, this time I'll remember what I'm doing. Move you up here. Right. Set the font to be dummy. Move down a little bit. And then do it. That looks all right. Well, it doesn't look all right, but it's at least got... I'm sorry, there's a car alarm going off outside. Surprisingly loud. Did somebody just hit something? There's another car sitting right beside the one that's got the car alarm going off. Well, we'll just work through it, I suppose. Sorry about this. There's only so much I can do to... Apparently that worked. It's stopped. Anyway. Already distracted. So what we've got is we've got text coming up. Cool. So that'll fix the problem that we were having with it not rendering in system font. So let us commit that, just so we've actually got that code in. System font does not have the Wimp symbol translation applied. Just plot the C1 region. Are you building this text renderer for anything specific? So this is building for Riscos. So Riscos is an old operating system running on ARM, and it's to replace the text render that was in the window manager. So I'm working to a specific API that the window manager has. The original code that's in the window manager is all written in assembler and is not very maintainable. So I'm replacing it with C code to make sure that it's a little bit more modern. I mean, strictly we should really be building it in something like Rust, but A, I don't know Rust, and I haven't got around to learning it yet, although it would be a good exercise, and B, there isn't a Rust compiler for Riscos yet, and so I haven't got that working. So not done that. I mean, that would be the better choice, but that is what we're trying to do here. So we're trying to match the existing API and handle all the calls exactly the same way. In theory, if it's all done right, we take the C code, we drop it into the existing code base in assembler, and it just works. That's the idea anyway. Sorry, I'm looking down there because that's where the chat is. So I hope that explains the where we're going. Yep, I hope so anyway. Any other questions, please feel free to ask. Yeah, the alarm wasn't even audible on the stream. Woo! My microphone was actually quite nicely directional then. Directly. Does that help answer things? So that was a question from Sandesh Boucher? Can't see. 6905. 6905. Wasn't that a old processor? One of the Z80 6502 era processors. It may not be. I may be just misremembering. I might 6905 might be completely different. But, excuse me. That is now done there. The next thing we want to do is to make sure that so those characters we were getting, the silly numbers. Let me go back and try and do that. I'm good. That was very clear. Thank you very much. I do try and give sort of a summary of where we're up to because people drop in at various times, but it's always difficult to try and get a good summary that actually helps. Oh, that was done it again. It's not confusing to people, particularly when they're used to using much bigger systems. Right, run this again. And the system I'm running it in is this is an emulation of the Riscos environment that we're running on here. So that's that one. I've done it wrong again. Should maybe put these into the environment, shouldn't I? Echo 12, clear the screen. And then, right, what I was trying to say was, make this a bit bigger. These characters here are the standard characters that are present in the bitmap font. So you've got a Euro character, W hat in capitals, W hat in lowercase, which I think are Welsh characters or something. Character 83, 84, or 83, 84. Y hat, I don't know what Y hat is used for. Might be Welsh as well, I'm not sure. 8889, AB, AA, 8A, 8B, and then a long hyphen. So they're in the C1 area. The C1 area, so C0 area is, if I remembered rightly, I could be misremembering this, but C0 is the lower section, characters 0 to 31, and C1 is the hex 80 through to hex 9F, 128 to 159. So basically having bit 7 set. And those were not defined in Latin 1, ISO 88591. Oh, that's wrong. Look, that little blue line there is telling me that the string length is wrong. Oh. Okay, so we have something else to fix there. Oh, goody. We'll have a look at that in a minute. So yeah, there's that to fix. But yeah, that's what those regions are. When you enter the window manager system, these characters are all redefined to have the particular meanings that are defined in here. So there's a tick symbol, maximize, not maximize, resize, back, up, down, left, right. That's what they're meant to be. So those symbols are relatively easy, to convert. We're going to go and do that very shortly. We're going to define them rather. But I want to have a look at this. So what this line is meant to be is it's meant to be the width of the string, and it's come out wrongly. So we need to have a look into that. In fact, what we could do here is we could make it, instead of printing just, oh, you know, you get the width there. I wonder if we make it into, yeah, I think I'm going to make it a lighter blue, because it's that's rather dull rather, not dumb. It is rather dumb, but so that's one thing I can do there. The other bit is, let's have a look at what's gone wrong with the string width call. So probably, if we have a look in here, in string width, so we literally just call string size, passing in the length, and we get out just 2 characters, so that's clearly not right. So if we go into, this is in the gcontext library, maybe I've broken that. So VDU5 string, sorry, what do we do? We call get string size, and we pass in, yeah, the bounding box and that. Okay. So if the string size was given as -1, then we do a strlen call. Fair enough. If the length times the x size, the character size, x size is the actual character size of this, is greater than limit, then we try splitting the string if there's a split character. Oh, if split character is 0. Split character is currently set to -1 actually, or 0 for none. Interesting. That probably means that we should be passing in 0 there, not -1. Okay, that's one thing that's different. This is where we're looking for the split character, blah 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 blah, and then we do that. Okay. Otherwise, left bearing is that x offset is length. Well, that's not very sensible. It should actually be, oh no, x offset. Sorry, what's x offset actually mean? I think if I go into gcontext and look in here, we should find the bound structure. Yeah, I've got these around the wrong way. So I've got this wrong. X offset, what we should have is char offset, which is where we stop, is the length, and x offset should be length times x size. Oh, that was very dumb code there. So there we go. So now I'm going to have to rebuild the graphics library. Viscosamu export. Lots of things. And then we can go and build this again. And fingers crossed we get something that works. Gets us the blue line coming across in the right size. Okay, put that there. Set Wimp font to foo. Number of blank lines just to get us below the printed bit. That blue line looks better to me. Yeah, that blue line's gone all the way to the end. Brilliant. So yeah, that's cool as well. All right. Git commit. Oh no, I didn't actually do anything. Actually, that does do it. That sets the split point better, doesn't it? Use the correct syntax for split point character. Split point had been supplied as -1 when the gcontext code was expecting 0. Should probably have a constant for that to say no split point or something. That would probably make more sense. We'll push that and we'll jump back to gcontext and we'll go and commit that as well. So we've made any other changes? Oh, we've added the read handle call as well. Oh, this won't. That's interesting. So this actually won't build in CI because the interface has changed. So let's commit this and do a new release of it. Add get text handle and fix string size for VU5. The string size was being returned as the number of characters, not its width. And the character offset was never initialized. Overrun me length there. These are now addressed. New interface for reading the font handle added. This is useful if the video system fails to fall back. No, not fails to fall back, actually does falls back. The system font. And we wish to defer. There we are. I can spell. Right, let's push that, and then we need to tag it. So vmanage increment of ink version number. It's not how you do it, is it? That's not how you do it. Hang on. Oh no, this is how you do it. Okay. Update version number to 0.03. You can use it in Wimp text render. Come on, fingers. Thank you. Push that, tag it, the 0.03, push origin 0.03. There we go. And if we have a look over here, we should be able to look and see. No, it's just building them. Give it a moment. Shouldn't take long. Get started building. It's finished. It's doing the release. Come on, finish the release yet? Complete. Thank you very much. Over here. Boom. Right. Over the 0.02. New interface to read the font handle. Also, new interface to provide fallback to system font if font isn't present. Read the font handle and fix for VU5 text failing to render, going to size properly. Okay, there we go. Publish release. There we go. And now back in text rendering, we just need to update the CI so that it uses the new version. update to use gcontext version 4.03. Needed for the fallback text and the string sizing. Okay, so in theory, I'm hoping if I go to actions on here, oh, I'm not signed in. Now I'm signed in. Okay. I'm hoping that this will actually build properly now. Because just because it builds locally, there we go, excellent. Wonderful. So, just because it builds on my machine doesn't mean it's actually any use for anything else. Oh, we haven't done any releases ever. Oh. Should we do a release? No, I guess we're not ready yet. We've not really got anything particularly useful. We've got a build out of it, which is the command line tool, but that's all. So it's not really that useful. But we can now make some stuff work, I think. Let's have a see what we can do though. We have, yes, we've got that text working properly. We just haven't defined the characters. So let's find the definition of the characters. Last time I had them in Pyro, didn't I? Let me see if I can just pull that up here. Ah, thank you, good. Right, so what I want to do is I want to find where I had it. Oh, hang on, was it? I didn't have it in another window, did I? No, I didn't, okay. It would be in core/wimp/ caret color map cans. Probably in the graphics context code actually. Wimp graphics. I think it's in here. Sprite handling. Null graph is the base graphics class. Graphics class that uses the Wimp sprite pool and gets pixel transfer. Here we are, viscous graphics. These are the definitions we want. So let's copy those and put them into our code down here. So actually, we probably should put this in a separate file because it's like definitions and things. So what should we call this? We call this VU5 jars. Yeah, VU5 jars. That sounds like a nice name. Right, so the characters are these ones, and I want to know what these symbols are here, and I defined them up here, didn't I? Let's put that in the header, actually. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Actually, probably the value of the symbol should probably be in the Wimp symbol file, shouldn't it? Oops, deleted a bit too much there. There we go. Ta-da! Okay, so that's in there, in the Wimp symbol file. Video chart 5 charts, here we go. So firstly, nope, file definition please, thank you. This is video 5 chars. Definition of the user definable so these values here, in case you've never seen them before, they are bitmaps of the patterns that are to be used to draw them. So bit 0 is the rightmost pixel, bit 1 is the next one, all the way going across. Yeah, that's right. And there are 8 of them going down. So 8 across, 8 down, 256 pixels. And that defines the characters. So that's very small system font, but that was how it was originally defined on the BBC Micro. And we still use it. Ideally, we should actually have a new definition that handles larger fonts. And really the best way of doing that is probably to use the Zap redraw environment that defines that. But that can all come at a later date. I suspect that Nemo's probably done something in this area, but it needs wider changes to parts of the VGU system to pass it through. So we just continue with what we've got here. Of the character shapes. So sharp. Yeah, I'm going to define them this way because so in the window manager originally in the assembler code, glyphs. Thank you very much, Dave, Bag of Spanners. I always get this wrong. I call them characters, they're glyphs. The representation of the thing you want to see is a glyph on the screen, yes. And they are distinct from the actual characters themselves, and they're distinct from code points. Dave knows his, Spanners knows his font system far better than I do, which is why it's useful to have people look at this stuff and tell me, yeah, you've done it wrong. We'll call it a glyph. We'll call it the glyph here. Actually, this is defining it for. Oh, I'm just going to call it character. Just for the hell of it here. Def, which is 8 bytes. There we go. What can happen is we can have somebody who's clever, who knows this stuff and actually can do it properly, because I know how some bits of things work, but that doesn't mean to say I can do it well. And you've seen how some of this code works. It's not brilliant. It would probably be done differently if somebody else was doing it. And Dave's probably going to curse me for this, but it's one of the things I took away from doing things in Pixel. So when we were at Pixel, there was some. That's my second time anyway. They had decent training there. I think it was pretty decent anyway. And one of the parts of that training was not to write code as clever as you can. I mean, this is something that I knew anyway, but the hiring policy for Pixel, which kind of worked, it had some drawbacks, but the policy was don't get the best people. Get people who are pretty reasonable and can pick things up. And the idea was that people who are reasonable, can pick things up, can be transferred between projects relatively well, they can see things. And then they write code that is pretty reasonable. They don't write stuff that's amazingly clever. They don't write stuff that's really dumb. And everybody's at about the same level. You still need some very, very clever people, like Dave. And those people can guide everybody else. But the bulk of people are just like pretty much average. That's why I was there. And that meant that you could pick up any piece of code. You don't write it as clever as you can. You just write it so that other people can manage it. And then you shouldn't be going into a code base and going, oh, this is special. You should be going, oh, this is just the same sort of thing as I've seen before. Classic self-deprecation there. Yeah, I'm not that great. Do remember this. So Dave says one thing he's done in TGE, the Great Escape and Chase HQ is to define 256 symbols to represent the pixel rows. So you define char xxx underscore x underscore x for 555, so you can actually write the pixels in code. Yeah, I've seen people do this in some other code that somebody had defined B and then zeros and ones in the same way. Doing it with X's is actually quite a nice idea, because then you can actually see what the values are. That's actually quite cute. If I wasn't just pinching the code, I would probably do that. I'm not doing that right now, but it's a really good idea because you can actually look at it and you go, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, that pixel's in the wrong place, and you can move it, which is quite nice, really. Yeah, so let's define these. These are the Wimp U5 Wimp symbols. One slight problem. JCHQ's graphics are upside down. It renders them from bottom to top then, I'm guessing. I guess there's no real cost to doing that if you're not using a cache system and the like. I can definitely see that being frustrating though. Symbol that, go to there, comma, and then I think that's the correct syntax for this. Looks right to me. We also want to define an end symbol, don't I? So I'll just use 0 to mean the end. Okay. Oh, I've got my break timer still enabled. Every time I do this. Yeah, quiet for another 2 hours, I think. That'll do. Right. 3D5 chars. Define. That'll do. I mean, really, it feels like we should probably have an interface that reads the characters and then one that goes and writes them, updates them. But the standard Wimp never did that, so I'm not going to. Okay, so PDU5 char T equals PDU5 Wimp symbols. Actually, it should be a for loop, this. This is actually a perfect case for a for loop. CP to character is not equal to 0, CP plus. Let's see. This is pretty horrible, isn't it? 23 character. Actually, why don't I do it as a build it into an array? Because I mean, there's no reason not to. Just 3 bytes, 2 bytes. It's only 2 bytes. It's only 2 bytes. So buff bracket 0 equals 23. Buff bracket 1 equals character, and then do write n in our comma 1 buff 2 characters. There we go. Yeah, so it writes 2 characters, and then we want to write the 8 characters that we have as the definition, which is CP definition. That's it. That's all it needs. Now, in the window manager itself, I believe this is actually embedded as a static code 23, code for the symbol tick, code 03366, blah, 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 blah. And you just write the whole lot in one write n, which is actually quite efficient, obviously, but it's not really that friendly, and I could do that. But I guess that's following the same pattern as I was trying to say, is that don't write it as clever as you can. It also means that it's easier to modify in the future. I want to add some more. I don't have to go and calculate lengths and things like that. It just feels better to me anyway. So anyway, I've now got this one. I need to do some includes. So we need an include of swis, so we can call swix. And I want an include of Wimp symbol, because that's got the, that's in the wrong place, it should be down here. That's got these symbol values in. Okay. Let us go and put that into a header then. Copy all of this. New file, video5 Charles. Infinite def, video5 Charles. Where did that underscore come from? Thank you. We don't need any of this. And that function there. I really want something that just goes and automatically builds me the. I didn't delete that, did I? The declaration for me, because it's very tedious doing this. Okay. Now I need to update the make file. So I actually build with it. o.video5 Charles. And then the main function will need to call it. So include video5 chars.h, and it was video5 chars define, if I remember rightly. It's possible that we should actually provide that as part of gcontext, but most graphic systems are just not going to be able to handle passing in bitmaps for characters, so I'm not sure it's worthwhile. Maybe in the future I'll do that. Actually, that would be quite handy, wouldn't it? Because if we could pass it through to gcontext, we could have gcontext replace the implementation with anything else. So if we did have a larger definition, we could use that. Static const on the main struct. Yeah, that should be const. Where is it? Yeah, because otherwise it gets put into the data area and is writable, which we don't want it to be. Thank you very much, Dave. Right, I think that's now compilable. Dup, dup, dup. Or not. Okay, that const I've now gone and there we go. Need to find one there as well, because we're using it. And then int character 950. Oh yeah, because it's CP to character. It is strictly a glyph, isn't it? This is the glyph we're using. So I will take Dave's advice and you call it properly. CPU will need a constant. Yeah, I got that one. Thank you. See, it's great having somebody who actually knows what they're doing to spot my mistakes. Here we go. Let's see if this works, shall we? Ooh, look at that! Tick. Not maximized. Maximized, not maximized. Resize. Actually, take a bigger so we can see what it looks like. Yeah, there we go. Tick. Maximized, not maximized. Resize. Close. Back. Left, right, down, up. And then that's iconized, which just happens to also be a long hyphen, which is quite handy. So there we are. We now have some characters defined for it. Oh, good. All right, let's close that and commit it. Add c/video5 chars and h/video5 chars. Add the video5 character definitions for system font use. The Wimp will, on the first initialize call, define the characters in the system font to its standard versions. These are now implemented. Is there sort of clipping going on? The pixels don't seem to occupy the full grid. The rightmost arrow seems to be missing its right edge. If there is, that's probably my rendering rather than anything else. But let's have a look. Because I'm not applying any clipping here. So it's probably Pyromaniac doing it oddly. Let's have a look at that. I think the right hand edge there on the right arrow, which is the one you were saying, the rightmost arrow needs to be its right edge. I think it's just blurred into the next character. If I put spaces between them, do you think that would make us make it a bit clearer for us? I'll try that. Let's give that a whirl. Oh, I've just closed it. I didn't mean to do that. We go back into main and add spaces between all of them. We can then see explicitly what they look like. Build. Up there, have a bit of space. Whee. I'm really pleased I actually implemented the resize thing, because it does help a lot when you're trying to see things like this. And probably if you're like trying to see it on YouTube, it makes a massive difference. Right. Yeah, they look okay to me, I think. Does that look all right to you, Dave? Anyone else? I mean, it could just be YouTube as well being weird. I've killed my backups. I always try and kill my backups in the morning, so it doesn't interfere with this process of live coding. Looks fine. Good. All right. Space out the symbols clearer. Symbols more obvious. So let's push that. Okay, so that should now be that part done. What I'm going to do now is update the status, because then we can see where we were up to. So we have a look in status here. So we've got text users Wimp symbols font. We can now say this is done. And system font rendering with scaling also appears to be done, and I think we're happy with that. So let's go and update that. That's in what's it in? Features, Wimp text. Features, Wimp text. Oh, it's not. It's window manager text render, isn't it? MD. Here we are. This is it. So we've now got this working in 32-bit, and we've got this working in 32-bit. We haven't yet proven that it works in 64-bit. So let us do that. Build 64 equals 1. Fingers crossed. This takes a little bit longer as GCC is a little bit slower, and I have to remap a bunch of my content around. There we go. Yeah, that's not too bad. Okay. Oh, I didn't export the G context. Discuss export build 64. Because without that being exported 64-bit, it's using the old version. Come on. Yeah, it's casting the pointer into a int32. Not a good idea, but it'll work. These things, that's all we're doing. Oh, many different versions. No matter. Getting there. And are we done yet? Are we there yet? Yeah, that's done. Rebuild this with the new library. Thank you very much. And then run it. Does anyone know Riscos 5 uses the Riscos 3 hourglass instead of the Riscos 4 sprite version, even though those are included in the source code? I have no idea. I like the new hourglass, but I mean, you can always load your own hourglass module, and I've produced my own as well. So yeah, I mean that definitely falls into the category of decent theming, I suppose. So I would have a chat briefly to Paolo and see if there's an option for hourglasses in there, since he's doing the theming, some of the theming work at the moment. And that should hopefully get some ideas, but I don't know why. If I were to suggest, I would say that it's because many of the people that work on that code are very stuck in the past and don't like anything that was developed outside of their control. Maybe me being cynical, but yeah, I mean, I would. That said, of course, the Riscos 4 style curved hourglass that's rather nice was actually designed by Acorn anyway. We didn't do anything special to it when we were taking it over with Riscos Limited. We just used it and it was like, oh, that's lovely, I like that. So yeah, it seems like it's a interesting choice. I don't like the blocky style hourglass particularly, but I do like the curved one. You should just be able to build it. You should just be able to build it in the sources. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to, but yeah. And I mean, if you also want to have a look, so just talking hourglasses, Riscos hourglass maker. This has some hourglasses in it, which should work. They should work. I haven't tested them in a while, but there's no reason why they shouldn't, I don't think. And you can go to releases and download them. Oh yeah, fix for failure set. That wouldn't work properly. I downloaded that. I think in the binary, in the image. There you go. There's little examples of them. So this is the example ones that are in my repository. This one's the nice one. I like my cog one. It could do with a bit of a tidy up maybe, but it's quite a nice one. These ones are pretty ugly, but yeah. And this one's sort of closer to the style that is used in Riscos 4. Did we put a border around it? Did we actually put a border around ours? I can't remember. We may have put a border around it for Riscos 4 because it was just blending in, or maybe it was already an option and we turned it on. I don't know, but these are some hourglasses anyway. If you want them, these are the files themselves. If you want to pinch them and have a look, and of course the whole point of this repository is that it will build you new hourglasses based on GIFs. If you can cut them out and put them in the right places. Anyway, digression aside, start this up in 64-bit. Right, we're now running a 64-bit OS. AF, a bit further down please. AF64, ooh, that's clearly a awkward scaling that's making all the characters look very weird. No, a bit bigger please. That's better. Right, AF64.Wimp text render. There we go, that's the font version. And then set to foo, echo 12. font? Oh, because the debug's turned on, that's right. And then plot it. There we go. Works in 64-bit as well, so that's nice. Quite like that, really. It's nice when stuff just works. So 64-bit is working, that is working as well. Awesome. So what we can do now is say that that is complete. Update Wimp text render to say that symbol font works. Text. Oh, for Pete's sake. Rendering now supports the symbol font and the scaling of the system font as well. We've still got those fix me notes about different lengths and the like that are not present, so they'll need to be able to be looked at. But we've got the notes, so it's good enough. We can just move on to the next thing. If we have a quick look at this now, we should see. Oh, F5 isn't reload in Chrome. It's very frustrating. Now at 70%, nearly halfway there. We've got a few things to do, and then we've got the slides to handle. So let's see what we can do about that. It's 2 hours, so we can get the next bit done. Getting the default font from NVRAM. Ugh. I don't remember how that's done. I just don't. So what I'm going to do is have a look in here and see whether we actually handle it already inside Pyromaniac. Because if we already handle it in here, I can just pinch that code. If we don't, then I won't handle it. Text doc, we can have a default font configuration, which automatically sets the font variable. NVRAM. Oh, there's nothing in there. We don't do it. Which kind of makes sense because, I mean, none of this is particularly useful like this. Loading a module makes the cursor vanish. Okay, that may mean that I've got something wrong. Maybe they're not working. Thank you very much for the report. I will need to have a look into that later, not really a second. I mean, nobody's reported anything up till now, so I haven't really known. It's been tested largely on Pyro and on Riscos 4. So, yeah, you might need to kill the module and restart it again. Sorry about that. So this doesn't appear to have any NVRAM handling in it. Yeah, bother. All right, so in which case then let's have a look at the Riscos sources, shall we? Projects, Riscos modules, sources, not that. Desktop. Wimp. Okay. Right. Where would this be? If I were, oh, that might actually be in font, mightn't it? So if we ever came to replace it, we would just replace this file largely. It would look like, oh, sorry, part of this file. C text doc. Hang on, if I've already implemented this, I'll be very, very irritated. Oh look, here's a bit where we handle split points. Here's the split point handling. Here's truncation with ellipsis. Okay, so I haven't done all of it, but I've done the bits that I haven't yet implemented. So I think I can just pinch this code from out of my Wimp and dump it into the code here. Oh, I'm really glad that I looked at this, because that's yeah, useful. I'm not doing this convert to points thing. Do I need to do that? I may need to do that. Convert to os. Interesting. I don't think I'm doing that at the moment. Oh, it's being handled inside the graphics library. That's why. Yeah. So, okay, this is cool. I can handle this. Oh, that's great. I can pinch this code. That is lovely. Right. It means I don't have to write things again. So this is the advantage of having started to write things in C already. If we'd started to do this some years ago, because I mean, this should be a standard format. Yeah, this was originally done in 2004. So yeah, I kind of help myself sometimes. What was I looking for though? I was looking for Trinity. So if it's in here, it'll be under Trinity. No. So presumably, I don't know. Recognizer Trinity. Yes, star. Ooh, interesting. Because I'm assuming there will be a string in there that contains one for Trinity, one for Homerton, one for corpus to make out the 7 values. So where is that defined? All right, let's search for NVRAM. No. Okay, let's look for CMOS, see if it's got the old term in it. File switch, desktop features, controls weather. Ugh. Wimp flags off the screen. CMOS, that's in the log file. That doesn't help. Well, one of these has got to have. That's the configuration options. There's the commands. Yeah, fair enough. Don't see one for the font in there. Is it part of Wimp flags or? Does it? I wonder if it does it by just. No, it couldn't just read the font list and then step through it, surely. Hang on, it must be this one here, because it's in the font file. Why didn't that find? Oh, I've got case sensitive turned on. Right, so what we do here is we go read the font, and with 1E and shift right, so that'll give me 16 values. The value of 0 of 1 is the system font. Not equal, go to 50. Allocate a buffer big enough for the font name and so a pointer. Starting there. It actually just enumerates the ones that are in resources and uses those. So actually, if somebody were to add a new font called, let's say, Anton into the resource FS, you would have your font change based on that. So it would the configured value that you configured to be Homerton medium would no longer be Homerton medium. I mean, that's kind of useful in the sense that it means that it's dynamic based on what's in the ROM, but it also means that if you change ROMs or you upgrade the OS, your CMOS is no longer valid. That's a not great design. it is definitely worth building that into a table rather than doing it that way. So let us do that, shall we? That's not very nice, I don't think. Yeah, right. So the bit that's important here is we're calling read CMOS, which we can do easily, and then desktop features CMOS, whatever that is. I wonder where desktop features CMOS is defined. Desktop features CMOS. It's not in here. Is it one of the standard CMOS values then? Ugh. Where are they? Discuss. Some header colon CMOS. Ooh, CMOS apparently. I'm going to grep it quite a bit less. The other desktop bit is that one. That's just bits it's defining there. Here we are. C6. That doesn't look like the ones I was talking about. Desktop features CMOS. There it is. Contains a flag section to indicate various features available within the desktop, such as 3D or not 3D, and things to do with the Wimp. So bit 0 is 3D look, bits 1 to 4 is the system font, use the variable or forced from elsewhere. Yeah, so it doesn't actually define it as being use font number N from ResourceFS, but that's really not very helpful. And then we use sprite precedence and Wimp button type. Okay, fair enough. Wimp button type. What does that mean? Oh, that's a release. That's whether buttons are triggered by release or not, if I remember rightly. And this is using the tiled background. Okay, so this is relatively easy. We can just pinch this. Pinch all of this actually, just for ease. We don't need the font manager anymore. Move that out of the way. This is now completed, so we can move that out of the way as well. Back to here. And let's new file. So fonts. Actually, it should probably just go in the bit that handles the text rendering, shouldn't it? It can just go in here because we handle all the default fonts and everything in this. So fair enough. Let's do that. Actually, yeah, let's put this in a separate file, because then if we change the way that it's defined in the future, we can handle it a different way. Text render NVRAM. Okay. NVRAM configuration of the fonts to use in the desktop. Oh, this is not defining a function. Here we go. Right. Here's a CMOS file. So, which if I've remembered rightly, we probably exported, so I can probably just include it. Include viscos / CMOS. We probably also want to include swice.h. Right. First thing we're going to need to do is we need to be able to read the configuration. So VRAM read a value from the configuration. Default value to return if invalid. Okay, and returns value. Int var its default value. Underscore swix or read, no, or byte, sorry. Oh, 160, I think. Is it 161? I open issue on get for the hourglass. Good. Roll source is missing hour make, so it doesn't build. Oh, that's not very helpful. I don't know if we ever had hour make, or was hour make the DoggySoft application? I can't remember. And it does have a border on Viscos 4's Hourglass. I mean, I could always just export the version of Hourglass that we've got in Viscos 4 because it's nice. But anyway. I'm sure it was... Oh, I don't know. This is just annoying me now. So, yes, we'll have a little digression here. Subler. Modules modules Viscos sources. Is it video? It's video render, isn't it? Hourglass, there we go. Bomb. Yeah, so this is all of the code is just built in here, and I think we just have. Actually, where is the data for this? There we go, Hourglass shape, and then the diffs. This is just hard coded into the code here, so it's not. We don't actually have the old style Hourglass in it. Black edges. Oh, black edges. No, that's horrible. That's horrid. The thing is, I like it now with your black edges, so maybe that was the thing. Got side lights on there as well. Yeah, okay. Ursula. True. What does Ursula do? Oh, it handles more colour configuration because we use the extra colour as well. That's right. Whereas the old one didn't have all colours. Diff offset table. Program pointer. Yeah. It only does program and restore. Oh, we do restoration better in Ursula. Yeah, fair enough. Interesting. Okay. Character. Oh, these are the definitions of the numbers in the percentage. That's kind of cute. Yeah. All right. So yes, there is the Hourglass module there, but obviously it's slightly different in the Viscos 5 source. Lab.viscos.org. So looking the same directory. Video render. Let's have a look at that. Oh, they've got a blend table. Hourglass. Why did I say it was horrid when it's... So they've got 2 hourglasses then. Hour make. There's hour make. You can build it, I suppose. Maybe an hourglass 2. Well, that's not exactly a useful thing. What does that do? Hourglass 2 res, hourglass. There's no... That doesn't look like a useful component. I mean, maybe it's doing something else magic in there, but it seems to be missing, like, the entire body of it. Yeah, that looks like it's missing the entire body, because that directory just doesn't exist. I suspect somebody's... I suspect that somebody's tried to delete everything to clean up the RM files, and in doing so has destroyed everything. Yeah, where's history? History. Added third-party hourglass module. Let's just change the version number file. I think somebody has stripped the source of any files in the RM directory as part of the Git import, because Dave Cotton did some of the work on Lazarus. 2000, I would have been there, I think, then, around that time. And by doing, I would have been there around then. And in doing so, they've destroyed everything in this Hourglass 2 directory. Good job. Anyway, not exactly the most useful of components. Back to what I was trying to do. Yeah, I was trying to remember what the boss byte value was. So every blooming time I get confused by this. Is there? Where is it? Come on, cd/resources. Not slash Riscos resources. Export directory. Is there a C Riscos header that contains OSByte calls? I don't think there is. I don't think OSByte numbers are actually defined anywhere. Although, actually, there probably are. It's probably, the value I want is probably defined in CMOS. Yeah, read CMOS is the value I want. So it is defined in there. It's not very helpful when all the others are suffixed by CMOS. But, okay. I can handle that. That's psi is all I'll do there. Read CMOS. Oops, no, we need to pass in the value. In R0 to 1, out is in R2. Pretty sure it's in R2. Why is it that? I don't know anymore. Shift Control H. What was my? That was, yes, that was the right one. Oh, I need to find the actual call here, don't I? Index of OSBytes. Here we are. 160 something. Read battery back 161. That was close. Yes, it goes into R2. Read CMOS var ampersand value equals 0. If error, turn default value. No! Default value. Otherwise return value. Okay, that's nice and easy. And since I'm doing it, let me define the right call as well. Right CMOS, and it will be going to a bit of value, return 0. Okay, there we are. Gonna need more tea in a minute, but let's just get through this and we'll be good. So what was the thing we're trying to do? We're trying to get the default font, aren't we? And in text render there was a call that we do for getting the default font. There's this desktop font function here, which was actually the get default font name. Here we go. Actually, it is wrong. So according to this documentation here, it says only if it's 0 do we use the Wimp font variable. Otherwise, we use a system font. So actually, I've implemented this wrong. I mean, I'd rather it was a case that Wimp font always overrode things, but in fact, I'm going to implement it that way just because I think this is more sane. It may come out differently and somebody can flip it around and change the implementation, but right now that doesn't matter. So we're going to just copy this function here and put it into this file. So the default configuration is nvram read of variable desktop features CMOS, and the default value is going to be 0 because we want it to go and default to being Wimp font. Oh, what do I want it to default to be, Homerton? I don't know. I'd default to Wimp font. Right, so int font value equals that. Null to use the system font. Actually, what's it actually? Sorry, I've already forgotten. 1 is to use the system font. Okay. No, sorry, one thing here. If font value equals 0 or font value equals 1. Yeah, because they're not defined, are they? Return null. Use the system font. Otherwise, we've got to look it up in a table. Oh, actually, no, this is wrong. So this is actually needs to be shifted right by 1. And 15. Desktop font bits. No, other way around. And desktop font bits shifted right 1. There we go. Static const font names. Font char star. Font names. Oh, font. Oh, this is irritating. If I put it into a char star, an array of char stars, then it has to end up with pointers to each of them. And then when I try, if it was to try to be built into a module, it would need to use relocations to go and relocate it, which I was trying to avoid. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just give them a big array, and we'll define it as a big string because we can. And then we'll step through it because, yeah, why not? Except I do need to know what the standard fonts are. So 0 is use system font. Actually, I don't need to do it this way. I can do it this way, can't I? Yeah, that's a good idea. So we do $. Font. System font. And then I need to know the list of them. So, where do we get our list from? Pull up with RPCMU and just copy it out of there, just because it's lazy. Hello RPCMU, font list. Oh, font cat, sorry. There you go, that's our list. Down here, then we can copy it. So what we got corpus dot bold and then bold oblique, spool T font cat spool library. Oh no, that's not the one I wanted. Library application support RPCMU hostfs T. There we go. Now I've got my list. Naught, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Naught, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, well, that's handy, isn't it? The standard set of fonts is actually 15 long, makes it to 15 long. Really? Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. Apparently so. Well, that's quite cute, isn't it? So name equals font names. Font value minus equals 2. If font value equals 0, return name. Otherwise, step forward by the length of the string. Name plus equals strlen bracket name plus 1 to step over the null. Oops, no, that needs to go on the other side. There, and then font value, actually better still, actually font value is greater than 0. And that just goes there. And this does font value minus 9 is. There we go. That should now give us the right configuration, I think. Ah dear. Text render in VRAM. Copy this, paste it here. If oh, fingers not playing ball again today. It's been a while since my fingers have actually been like sane and working. Maybe those should go into separate functions. Probably be useful to actually put them in a separate file, wouldn't it? Because they're not related to the NV. They can stay here for now. We don't need this exported. We do want this exported. And if so text render NVRAM needs to be added into here. Oop, no, wrong one. This part here, this make file. This one. And then text render itself needs to import that file so it's got the header for it. Oh, actually, we also want to import it in itself because then we check that the interface is defined properly. And I am using include a string even because I'm using strlen. Okay, probably working. Don't want to build a 64-bit version. Happy to build the regular 32-bit version. Or not. Sorry, what? Oh, in the header file. Did I forget a semicolon? Oh, I get passed in the text render. Oh, okay. Because you might have a different configuration for each of the windows. That was what I was saying. I was suggesting, wasn't I? Yeah, it's fine. We can just do that. Oh, actually, is that only defined in here? Oh, it is. Yeah, what the hell? I think that'll be okay. Inventing out. Oh, that's because I've missed an underscore. Underscore, please. And implicit. And I've defined both of those as being read. Whoops. And what was the other one? I've missed a const from my char star here, which is fine because it's going to return a const char star as well. I'm just thinking that in implementing this wrong by not using the 0 means the Wimp font, I've probably made it impossible to use. I'm going to have to do this properly, aren't I? I'm going to have to do it properly. I mean, that's not a bad thing. That's definitely a thing. So we should actually... get default font name. So I need to do this the right way. So reading the font shouldn't do it this way. This is reading the Wimp dollar font. So to do it the way that Riscos Classic does it, we need to go and get the variable and then decide what to do with it. So actually, let's change this function. Okay, to be get default font, get default font to use, full stop. No, get font get font config. There we go. Read the configured font to use. Font configuration value. Font config 0 is Wimp font. And then all the others are ROM fonts. Get rid of that space on the end, that's annoying me. That needs to go into this header. And get config, get font config. Should just be returning font value there. That's all it should do. Like that. And then get ROM font. Read the font name from a configuration. Oops, didn't change the function name. Wrong font name. We're not doing it as a text render, we're just doing it with a font config. font name or null if using a system font. So we can actually just find the value from the list. If star name equals to null. And now this is not actually doing anything else, so we can unindent all of that and then get rid of the trailer. That feels a little bit more like it. So it's changed the semantics a little bit, but it's closer to classic and still allows us to have some extensions in the future if we need to. Okay. Font and system font. All right. We go back to text rendering here. Read font now needs to do things differently. So firstly, it needs to do int font config equals text render underscore render. What was it called? Get font config for the context. If font config equals sorry, I've already forgotten the blooming values. It's in the header file, that's what I want it. It's in here. Wimp font. And this all still wants to be in the top here, with the exception of the getN for one. Font name equals that. And then we start working it out here. So if it's Wimp font, then we do that. What if it's the system font? Then we just call the get system font with null. Yeah, that's what we just call it with null. Or why have I put quotes around that? Oh, ooh, I'm going to need to get myself a cup of tea in a minute, I think. Yeah, we're definitely, ooh, we're way overdue for my break. And what should happen is it'll go through this process and find the right thing. If the font name is not null, right, it's null. If it is null, that's not needed because that's going to happen elsewhere. Hang on, why am I doing it this way? Why don't I just do it like, oh, because of course, yeah. If font name equals null, then we are the system font, force to the system font. Determine from the font name. So else get in font size. Yeah, definitely need to. We'll get some in a minute. Right, so that's going to handle those two cases. Otherwise, we get the value from the NVRAM. of the wrong font name. Desktop font to font name equals, what is desktop font? Is it a pointer? Into the buffer. Do we copy it? Well, we need to string a copy, don't we? We do it here. Sorry, this thing. Stupid. Bracket font config. And the sizes are the standard ones. No, sorry, that's what I should have done there. Font name is null. Brain, yeah, needing tea. Then this is the system font, and we just leave everything else the same because it's already been, it hasn't yet been populated. It's possible this can be refactored, but that now should be about the right thing. Font value 119. Oh, because it's font config. It's also wrong that because we don't correct for it. Just ensure that it'll never, even if we pass it bad parameters, give us bad values. All right. So now, if we call it directly, oh yeah, we've got to call the 32-bit version. The spaces, of course, just to do lots of things in the conversion code. We can probably turn the conversion debug off now, I think. Don't need that. Let's rebuild it. Sorry. There we go, that's better. Right, so if I change the font now, set Wimp $font to be Homerton.bold.italic. We get it in italic, yeah, that's fine. Clear the screen. And if we then do StarFX 162, comma, oh, I've forgotten the number. 8C. All right then. 8C, comma. This is where I find I've not implemented it properly. Set it to value, let's say 6. That's 6 is 3. So that should be a corpus. Oop, where's my window gone? Corpus, there we go. Corpus bold oblique. Thank you very much. That is exactly what I expected. Is it exactly what I expected? Number 3. just go and have a look at the list of them. 0, 1, 2, 3. Yes, it is the one I expected. Awesome. We now support NVRAM. And on the configuration has changed to match Discuss Classic NVRAM driving settings. Okay, push that and time for a break. Ugh. I don't usually overrun by half an hour, but yeah, so that's break time, 10 minutes, maybe 15. And then we'll just do some final bits because we're not going to get too much more done, I don't think. So what time are we going to be back? We'll be back about 1:15. All right, see you all in a bit. Hello. Oh, I'm back and I've got tea and I've had some biscuits. So that's sort of food, I suppose. Need to have lunch after this, but yeah, got about 40 minutes left. So let's see what we can get done. As you know, pull up the the features file. We've done a little bit more now, so we've got default font coming from NVRAM. So let us I know I could lift that code, but if I do, it's going to take me more than 40 minutes to go and get something working, I think. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to implement Wimp text op. We're going to see if we can get that working instead. And if we get that working, then all will be good. And we can actually feel that we've got somewhere. And then we can handle the rest of it next week, say. Yeah, we'll see what we can do. So, not this directory, I want to be in the text render directory. So we need to create a module out of this. So Riscos project create makefile is makefile module. Actually, can we just use the one that was there? That one, yeah. And then replace things. So instead of that, I want with text render. Oops, text render. Create a module. I tell you. And this is make mod. This is going to be pretty quick. We're not going to be like doing C module, sorry, not just module. Here we go. Alrighty. I did want to specify skeleton because I also want the whatever it's called. Oh dear. CMHG file, that's right. CMHG file, that one there. Oh, it's given it an extra FE1 on the end of it. That's not very useful. Get rid of that. Wimp text render module. We've got a main. We don't want a main. We just want a module, text render, blah, 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 blah. That looks good. No fortify and headers. Okay, let's build the module. Riscos ammu f makefile mod. Didn't mean to do a save there. Oh yeah, that's fine. Makefile mod. Built. Excellent. All right, so we've got a module. We now need to add in some SWI calls. Where do we do SWI calls? They're down here somewhere, aren't they? Where's SWI calls? SWI decoding table. Here we go. So Wimp text render. We've got a number of calls, but let's just text op in first because that's the first one we need to build. And I want it to dispatch to SWI text op. Oh, no SWI chunk. That's probably not very helpful. Where's the chunk defined? SWI chunk base number. I don't know, 880. Something there. That should be good enough. This is going to be a really, really quick and hacky build a module out of what we've written. So likelihood of this working is going to be low, but we'll at least have something out of it. So error identifiers, let's just get some random identifiers in here. So we're going to have not implemented. I'll just put that in there as not implemented. Okay. So we've got a SWI header there. Now we've got a module code. Here we are. So we've got module starting, module dying. Let's have the text op calls, shall we? So in the mod head here, we should have the definition of, this is the SWI entry call, SWI text op. Right. So yeah, I'm going to want to kitten ccoln riscos.h.wimp text op. I think there's a header for that. No, there isn't. Oh, that's a pity. I thought I did one for that. Let me just have a quick browse around there and see. So, riscos resources. This is export lib, export C, riscos H. Oh, it wouldn't be in there, would it? It'd be in the Wimp. So it'd be in lib. Lib. No. Doesn't look like I've got anything there, unless there's one in just C. Nope, it's not there. Just see if we actually got anything. Oh, well, there are some definitions in here. Oh, header Wimp. Riscos kitten ccoln h.wimp. No, we don't export that one then. There was an export one there. I'll just pinch this, to be honest. It'll be easier to do that. Really should export that one, but doesn't matter for now. Define even. Yeah, fine. And then for these ones, we'll just shrink that down to there. Max is the end of the list, so I'll delete that. Right, justify. Style we don't support, but we'll just leave it as defined so we know what it is. 31. Oops, all of these into this module here. Reason equals r to r bracket naught. Case. Line between those, please. Oops. Didn't mean to put 2 lines between them. And then case default. Oh, no, so case default, just default, isn't it? Is break. Switch based on reason. Why have you done that? I don't know what happened there. And then brace on that. Kernel os error star error equals not implemented. Okay, set text color. Oh no, hang on, we need to initialize things and set stuff up. So initialize the module. That needs to pinch a bunch of bits from main. So we need a text render context and a G context. They need to be set up to initialize that. We also need to do the VDU5 Charles define. Maybe we should do that in a different SWI call. I'll do it when the module initializes. It's not a big deal. This is only for testing purposes anyway. Well, largely anyway. So now we've got a text render context, which we'll put up here. Oh, hang on. I didn't initialize the text render context and set the font up. Okay. Oh no, take the font up. That can't go there. Sorry, that's got to go in the code. Stupid. There we are. And then define the characters. Okay, so we now got a text render set up. Finalizing, we probably want to shut things down, don't we? Do we actually have a shutdown? We must have a shutdown. Fix me. Call trender. Finalize and G context. To lose fonts. There we go. We need to do that as well, otherwise we'll be leaking. In text op here, so set text color. If we go back to this text render code, sorry, the main code. Sorry, how do we do this? Text render set colors. And if we have a look at thank you, that did launch it. Oh, reason code is actually only in the lower bits. Interesting. So let's lower bits. 0, set text colors to render is in 0. Foreground color is in R1, background color is in R2. Fair enough. Oh, hang on. Background, foreground. So R to R bracket 2 goes there. R to R bracket 1 goes there. So there you go, text colors are implemented. Okay, text width is the next one. Oh, hang on. Not very nice doing it this way. Let's actually describe it properly. On entry. I've just copied the wrong section. Doesn't matter, because what I'll do is I'll just copy this into the other function. This is text width. Now copy the section for text op 0. Same thing again. Went too far. On entry. Right. Control terminated character string. Number of characters include or 0 for the whole string. And if we go back to here, we can see where we did string width. That's what we did there. So nice and easy. Width equals passing text render The message is in R bracket 1, and max is in R bracket 2. Max there, and then we assign that into R0. Okay, render text. So I hope this is vaguely followable, and most of the time it's just copying comments, but it should be reasonably able to be followed. So hang on, wow, how have I got to step watchdog state? Have I skipped too much? I've skipped too much. I was not paying attention to what I was doing there. That was very dumb. Okay, try again. This time we'll actually handle the swipe call that we were actually intending to handle. I did think that looked rather odd. Oh no, that's not right. In. And then out is these ones. Okay, so what we got in here, we got some flags. uint32 flags equals r to r bracket 0. We've got some of these bits, and I don't think we're actually implementing any of them at the moment. So if I'm looking text render here, the paint we've got just says where to put it, and that's your lot. So we don't support anything else. So what we can do is we can do if flags is not equal to 0, not implemented, like that, nice and quick. And then for the null terminated string, oh, it's a null terminated string, interesting. The other ones, it was control terminated. So width is control character terminated. This one is null terminated. Feels like there's some inconsistency here, doesn't it? Not good. I need to look into that and check it. Const char star message is r to r bracket 1. Oh, also that should have been a const char star there as well, shouldn't it? R2 and R3 must be -1 for reasons. It's actually the maximum limits on that. And R4 and R5 are the bottom left coordinates. So we know the x and the y. X equals r to r bracket 4. Y equals r to r bracket 5. And then we can call the, oops, not that one, this file, main one, paint call here to paint the text. And this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. All right, split point and truncate with ellipsis not implemented. And then we return the error pointer, which we can set to null because this was handled. And we set to null here because this was also handled. And we set to null here because this was also handled. Okay. Viscos ammo. Oh no, that's building the module. The command line version. Build the module. Nope, not working. That's because I failed to include h.wimp. Well, what was it actually in? Was it Viscos slash? It was was just Wimp.h, wasn't it? Was it capital W? I think it's capital W. And include text render.h as well. Oh, and text op. Apparently it's not Wimp.h. Actually, do I even need that? Is it just only in the text op ones? Missing new line, inventing that. So that's also in include VDU5 chars. And presumably I've just got a missing. Oh, h.textop, that's why this file. Yeah, the compiler seems a bit unhappy on that. Right. Oh, we haven't included, that says it hasn't included the module header. That's odd. Well, we can include that as well. Yeah, mod head wasn't included. Very weird. O.modhead. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, that was including the G context as well. So that thing there. In libs, clib is implicit, so we don't need to include that. Build. Dum dum dum. Looking good. Excuse. Excuse me a moment. Right, pyrodev. Let's leave all that debug on, and just we can just do that. Just need to make sure that it builds the module this time. Makefile mod, and we may as well actually load module. IM32 / there we go. Oh, we should have dropped into basic rather than going into GOS, shouldn't we? Because then I can actually do commands. It started up with system fonts. That's interesting. Wonder why it started with system font. Don't know. Basic. This Wimp text op 2. That's plot text. Pointed to the string. Hello world. Plot it at. So this is -1 -1. It's got to be, and then left coordinate and the bottom coordinate. So 640 by 640, 640 will do. I wonder if that didn't work because I've got the colours wrong. Let's set the colours. So we set colours to foreground comma background. So foreground should be. Let's make the text a red, shall we? 8888 red, and the background is black. And then plot some text. That is not red. That is definitely not red. Better. Apparently there wasn't a pink that it could use there. So there we go. We've now got some SWI calls that work. That was pretty quick, wasn't it? I was quite pleased that managed to get in there and actually do something. If we do set Wimp $font to be corpus.bold, and then we plot another font in a different place. This won't change it because damn, it did change it because I'm calling the wrong system call. I'm calling Wimp text op when I should be calling Wimp text render. Let's start this again, because just get us a clean environment. Right. Because I need to call it Wimp text render, not Wimp, because otherwise it'll go through the Pyromaniac Wimp, which works because it does. Right. So, basic. Set some colors. Wimp text render. Text op. Okay. And now to plot the text. 1. Text render. Text op. Come on. Not implemented. Damn. Why is it not implemented? Because that should have gone through and worked, shouldn't it? Module. R0 render operation. All the way through that. Equals null. If flags is not equal to 0. Oh dear, no. And not. Clear off the bottom bits, that's why. I'll just exit and start again. There we go. We'll probably have a bad flags call. Basic, please. Let's go mode 28, just so we've actually got the colours coming out better. Set colours. Now do a plot. Hello world, but we got an exception out. We tried reading 0 when we were in font fallback paint. Oh, that's interesting. Why did we do that? Also, why is it using this? I think I know why that is. Font fallback paint. It's odd that R0 is, what could be? This could be R11 or R12. R11 is the frame pointer, which would be weird if it did that. R12, yes, the only one that's being used is the temporary pointer. This is the dispatch call. That's wrong. That code is not correct. R2 to R12, R12 to R6. Hang on, no, this is, what is this code? This looks like the dispatch, but it's not dispatch, it's part of paint handling. I'm not sure. Either way though, we've got a value of, yeah, our 12 has ended up with 0. Which is odd. And it was plotting it with the standard fonts, not anything else. I think my system font fallback is failing. Yeah, I think this shouldn't. I think we should just always be calling this. If it's system font, we should just call it with an empty string. because the fallback will handle it. I think passing in null is what's causing it to break. So what I'm going to do here is do ttf.system font otherwise that, and then we can remove that, and we can make this just assign directly since there's no point in doing anything else. I'll remove that. Like that. There we go. Right, I think that should do it. So basically what I've done is I've gone and implemented most of Wimp TextOp, not all of it because we've still got some parts of that don't work, in a module now, which means that we can test it out and we have some much better operations for handling things. So here we go. Let's pull in plotting it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, wanted it to be in red, didn't we? There we go, red. Now, rm reinit wimp text render. And now use Homerton, and there we go. We've got Homerton working now as well, which is quite cool. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. I think I'm quite pleased with that. I'm sure there are still a bunch of things that we've got that are not working right, but that looks good to me. So I need to add in the new files that we created. So make file mod chmhg viscos project, create git files, just make sure we've got rid of the OZ and RM files. Took a while there. All right. Oh no, need to make the CI build it as well. So we need to update the RO build. So build the command line test. And also build the module test. RAM. Don't get installed for that. Run the command. Load module to check it doesn't crash. Copy rm32.wimp text render as install.wimp text render mod, because otherwise it'll overwrite the one, and then we'll get that built as well. Okay, so git status, add a module implementation that provides the text op calls. Some of the text op calls are now implemented and provide simple to our implementation. Not all the calls are implemented, but the interface. Okay, and we can push that. All right, I am quite pleased with that. So we now have the interface for Wimp TextDop implemented. I'm not going to tick the button because I don't think it's particularly good. It was really just thrown together whilst we were talking here, so whilst I was doing it here, so I don't think it's like complete, but it is good enough, I think. So now we have on here, oh hang on, reload that because that's also implemented, isn't it? Oh, I didn't set it, didn't push it. Did I not make that change? Oh, I did make the change. Oh. Actually, we could probably also copy the module in there, couldn't we? /, oh, viscous text render rm32 / render to rm32. I usually do this the other way, don't I? I usually do it in here. Make file mod build. I've changed a few things apparently. Yeah, fine. Remove rm32. That's the one, yeah. So now I can just add those files. Just add that to my last change. Right, the module is now exported as well. So if we have a look at this now, we should, if it updates it, so next week we'll probably get these ticked off properly, but right now now we're up to 80% functional, 57% the total. So yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. That's done. This was pushed. Did it pass? Did it pass its tests? It did not. No, 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 no. We broke it. What do we break? Wimp text render not found. Oh, yeah, I didn't put in mod there. Fix that one up. It only takes 16 seconds to build, so this isn't exactly slow. Go around the loop again. Still failed. Copy does not support me. Oh. Which ones am I missing? I can never remember. Without confirm, without verbose. I think that's all it needs. Push it again. Maybe I should change that error message to say this flag was ignored instead. That would make more sense. tooth, I think. Oh no, just a little rough, that's all. There we are, this time it built. Cool. And if we just check that the download on that, what it's containing. Well, whilst it slowly sorts itself out. Oh, there we go. Text render and text render mod. Cool. Pretty neat. Okay, so this week, what have we done? We sorted out the rendering of system font so that it uses the correct characters. We've added in the correct characters so that they can be defined as part of the system initialization for the Wimp. We've added in the necessary bits for NVRAM reading, for getting the configuration out of NVRAM, which is not particularly difficult, but I'd done it wrong, so that took a bit longer than I intended. And we've built a new module so that we can actually test it as system calls. It's not finished yet. We've managed to get through a few bits of that. So there's still some things like control terminated and lengths that are not implemented yet. So we've still got more to do. It's going to be another week. But let's have a see what we can get done next week. Yeah, I will be here next week. It's the week after. I'm not going to be here. Yeah, so hopefully we'll be able to get this licked by next week, I would hope. And we can actually say, look, that's good enough. We don't need to worry about it anymore. All right. As usual, you can see all of this work online. Oh, hang on. What I haven't done on this, which I meant to do this week, was to add in a license. Oh, I did put the license in. All right, then. Fine, don't worry about that. We've got a license. I was going to say it's MIT. All of these things are MIT licensed. I usually use MIT or BSD because I don't have any particular preference for those, just that it not be GPL. So yeah, anybody can have a look at this. You can make changes and whatever. If you wish to get involved, please feel free to have a look at the code, make changes, raise PRs if you want, raise issues if you've missed anything. There is also discussions available on most of the GitHub repositories. If you have a look in text render, there's just discussions there, and there's also discussions on the status as a whole, so people can leave notes there to see what people are going on. All of which gives us a lot more input from people if you get involved. I'd like very much to get to the point where I've actually finished phase 1 of this work, but I realise I'm working on phase 2 at the moment, largely because I'm trying to make things interesting for people to watch. But do feel free to comment or be involved. I will be back next week and we will look at the remaining parts of it, which is sort of ticking some more of these boxes and then making sure that all the fix me's are fixed. We may even get some testing in there because we've already got some tests in the Pyromaniac source code, I think. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it's been interesting. Please feel free to leave any comments on the channel, on the repositories, or on the Riscos Open forums. See you all next week. Bye.